We're going to be looking again at the four averages: the mean, the median, the mode, and also the range. And we're going to be looking at that data for a list and looking at what happens to those four statistics when the numbers in the list change. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at the data on the left side and working out those four statistics. And then we're going to compare what's going on the right-hand side and see how, if at all, the four statistics are going to change. So on the left-hand side, with these five numbers here, if I want the mean, that's going to be the total divided by how many? How many numbers are in the list? And if I do that for these values, if I add all of these together, 1 plus 5 plus 5 plus 7 plus 12, that makes 30. And how many numbers do I have? I've got 5. So if I divide the two, the mean is 6. For the median, what I need to have is I need to have all of my data in ascending order, but it looks as if I've already got my data in ascending order. And then I need to look for the middle value. And the middle value of the 5 numbers is this third one here, so it's 5. So I'm going to write the middle value so we remember what that is. And that bit's done. For the mode, we know that that's the most common. And clearly, the most common value in the list is 5 because it appears more than the others. And finally, the range, well, that's the difference between the largest and the smallest value. It measures how spread out the data is. So I'm going to write largest minus smallest. Which is 12 minus 1, which is 11. So those are my four statistics. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to be looking over here at this list, and you might notice already the comparison between this list and this list over here, and we're going to see how, if at all, the four things have changed. So if you look carefully, the numbers I've got over here on the left, if you subtract 1 from them all, then you're going to end up with the numbers over here on the right. So 1 minus 1 gets the 0, 5 minus 1 leaves 4, and so on. So let's think about how these four things might change. Well, if I'm going to work out the mean again, well, all of the numbers have become smaller. They've all decreased by 1. So that means the total of my values is now going to be smaller than what it was. What that's going to do is that's going to make the mean smaller because I'm starting off with a smaller total. But on the bottom of the fraction, however, how many numbers I have, well, that hasn't changed. I've still got 5 values. So this value is going to be the same. So my prediction is that my mean is going to get smaller because of this smaller total. So I'm going to put smaller as my prediction. At the end of this question, we're going to work these four things out and make sure we got it right. For the median, well, the median value was a 5, but for every number over here, every number has got 1 smaller. And if the median was 5, it's now going to change to a 4. So the median will get smaller as well. For the mode, we can say something very similar. The mode was 5. That was the most common value over here. Those numbers have decreased by 1. So when I get to this list, the most common one is going to be 4, smaller than what it was. And then finally for the range, this is slightly different because the difference between the largest and smallest over here was 11. But if both of these values are getting 1 place smaller, then that's not going to affect the difference that's between them. The spread of the data is going to remain the same. So I'd expect that the range is actually going to remain the same over here. Same as before. And then finally, if I want to check my answers, all I've got to do is work these out and make sure that it's got smaller than what it has been. The mean is the total. The total is going to be 0 plus 4 plus 4 plus 6 plus 11. That's 25. How many numbers I have? That's still 5. And the mean is 5. And indeed, it has got smaller than the 6 that it was. For the median, we can look in the middle, and it's, as we said, it's gone from a 5 to a 4. So again, we've got that right, that's got smaller. The mode, well, it's gone from 5 to a 4, so that's got smaller as well. And the range, the new largest and smallest values is 11 and 0, and the difference between those is still 11. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at the list that you've got on the other side of the page, and to get to each row, the list is going to change ever so slightly, and you need to be looking at how the numbers are changing. I then want you to write down if the mean, median, mode and range have got smaller or larger or have stayed the same. And once you've made your predictions, I want you to work these 4 things out and check your answers and make sure that you've got it right. Okay, best of luck.